welcome to the first episode of Cast Iron Skillet. So right now we are getting ready to meet the Maribel, which is a Dexter cow. And so Tiffany and I have ridden horses together, and when she got Maribel became the center of my Facebook obsession. And a lot of the things that we are going to be tasting and trying and working today have come directly from Maribel. So she is the celebrity. All right, come with me. So a Dexter cow is actually a heritage breed also, right? I believe so. Yeah, I'll double check that. But, oh my gosh, that's so cute.
They're all happy.
But also on the property, whenever it comes to heritage breeds, we also have a Marsh Tacky on the property, which is a South Carolina state horse, which we will discuss in another episode, but to be continued on that. Focus is on Maribel today.
I talk to her every morning and every afternoon.
That, you know, it's like it's surreal and it's wonderful.
It's like you said, you nourish them and they in turn nourish you.
Yeah, you basically get what you put in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Madame, it is such a pleasure to finally meet you. A huge fan. Love what you do.
Yeah.
Right, so Tiffany, what do we have here?
This is beef fat, which comes from the processor.
Mm-hmm.
When we have the steer butchered, it's kind of like when you take a deer or anything else to the processor, they ask you what you want, which cuts you want, how you want them done. They asked us if we wanted all of the beef fat, and I said, yes, please, just separately. And so they cut it out and they package it for us and keep it in the freezer.
So this is actually from your cows that you have here on the farm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and what kind of cows are those?
Dexters.
American
Dexters.
Okay,
yep.
And you chose Dexters for what particular reason?
We have a really small farm. Mm-hmm. So Dexters tend to do well in smaller areas. They're a lot easier to handle. You know, you can have small herds pretty easily on small acreage. So they're a calm cow, and again, they don't grow huge and intimidating, and you know, they're just a good choice for small farms.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what are we doing with this today?
All right, so we're going to take the beef fat and we are going to render it. Okay. And all rendering is boiling it down until you have like just pure tallow, and then the little crinkly, meaty bits that you don't want, we're going to strain those out.
Okay. Awesome. All right, let's get started.
All right, you got some scissors there, and we're going to try and fit all these into this pot.
Is there a particular way that you go about this, or you just go for it?
Just go for it. Dump it in.
Oh,
yep. It's gonna. It's probably still very cold.
Yeah, it's kind of soft.
Yeah,
that's surprising. I kind of wasn't expecting it to I was expecting it to be more of a meaty feel. This is more clay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep, and you want to make sure to protect your clothes and stuff because it can get on there.
Oh, well, speaking of clothes, I did not bring an apron, but I see that you've got a good one on. Where did this one come from?
This is my Steady Eddie. I use it all the time. I was gifted a sewing machine many years ago. I think it was around 2009. And this was my very first project on the sewing machine.
Okay, so you did this yours. Look at you, just somebody that just can do it all. Then huh?
I try.
All right, and we're doing all of these bags too. Yep. Okay, cool.
Smells delicious, doesn't it?
It actually is not a bad smell. I was expecting, that deep, meaty smell that you would get from anytime that you use beef and stuff. Yeah. But it's actually really not that bad. I was definitely expecting something different.
It's the whole house is gonna smell like this. It kind of almost smells like bacon to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Or no, it's the charred end of a really good steak.
Oh.
When you char it and you're grilling it. Oh, yep. The whole house is gonna smell like that one time.
So, what all do you use the tallow for?
Well, some people can use it in like products. I use it for cooking.
Like products? You mean like facial products? And stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have heard some people are using it on their face and stuff, and it.
I have not done that.
I might give it a go.
Go for it. Are we gonna fit? It will shrink down, so it's okay if it gets kind of full. We just gotta make sure it stays in the pot. But yeah, I use it for, I'm gonna grab that, because otherwise it'll end up all the way across the floor. We're gonna boil it down. It'll take hours.
Hours?
Yeah, and the little bits on top will be really crispy and crunchy looking. And you'll see that everything is separated, and that's when we'll know it's done.
Cool.
Okay. I'm gonna wash my hands so I don't get tallow all over my stove. For several hours. So we're gonna let that go. We'll watch it while we make some mozzarella.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what do we have here? What's the setup?
Okay. So mozzarella has some heating, and a lot of cheese, they have heating steps. And the best way to control the heat after trying it on the stove and failing several times is to make a hot water bath and then just monitoring the temperature of what you're working with. So I got this hickey right here. It's called a sous vide. And its job is to heat and circulate water.
Okay, so it's going to actually heat the water that's around the pot. Got it.
Which will in turn heat what's in the pot. And
Very
we're going to
cool.
stick a thermometer in there to watch that. But first we need to get our milk into the pot.
Okay.
And
all right, now how much milk are we looking to do?
we're going to do the whole gallon.
The whole gallon?
Yeah, we're going to do a gallon of mozzarella cheese.
Oh, nice. All
Or a
right.
gallon's worth of mozzarella cheese.
Now, is there a particular milk that you like to use, or a store-bought, any kind of milk is good? Because I know you have your own cows out there, so do you ever use milk that you get from your cows, or?
Yes, I make a lot of cheese from raw milk.
Okay.
I don't pasteurize mine. I make it because it's just for my house. I can use raw milk.
Right.
And make all my cheese that way. But you can use store-bought milk. This is just a plain full fat. You don't want ultra pasteurized. That changes something in the cheese. They advise not using that. So a regular pasteurized milk or a raw milk that you buy in the grocery store.
So this milk from the store, pasteurized, we make milk great to have with friends.
Yeah.
But for myself, if I wanted to do that and I had my own cow, raw milk would be just fine as long as I'm the one consuming it.
That's right.
Fantastic.
We're not inspected or
We're
anything,
not
so-
inspected. We are doing this as a self-sufficient home, so not pasteurizing. But you can pasteurize your own milk, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's just a matter of temperature and time.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. And sometimes we just don't have time.
Okay, so now we got our gallon of milk in here. We're gonna create the water bath and then get our sous vide going. I hope I'm saying that right. It looks like it's pronounced sous vide, but it looks French.
If it's sous vide, sous vide, sous vide,
Sous vide?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Nick is behind us checking everything and being our camera and mic guy. All right, so just plug it in. It doesn't matter.
Yep, plug that
just
on in.
go for it. Okay.
And I'm going to double check the recipe real quick. I think we're gonna try and get it to 90 degrees.
Okay.
We got some water in there and turn it on.
This clip because you know somebody's gonna say something about ice in the wine. It's good. We're in the South.
We're in the South, and in the summer, this is incredibly refreshing.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right, and what is this? Is this just plain water or
Just plain water.
just plain water?
Unchlorinated water.
Very important.
Yes, when you're making cheese, you don't want chlorinated water or water with anything in it. We have a well.
Okay, so if you lived in the city, you probably want to go get
something,
water from like a bottle. All right, so we're gonna do. You said that we needed how much of this?
1.5.
Okay, and what is this?
This is citric acid.
Okay.
Milk needs to be at a certain pH for all the magic to happen, and the citric acid helps us get there.
Okay, so we've already added this to our water, and tell me the significance, the importance of the kind of water that we use.
This water, when you work with any cheese, you don't want chlorinated water ever.
Okay.
So, if you're on city water and they're putting things in the water, you want to get something from the store that's just pure. Spring water is fine,
But as long as you have well water, perfectly fine.
Yeah, should be fine.
All right. And so we stir it up. Does this need to be a certain temperature before we put it in, or?
It just needs to be mixed in.
Okay.
So as soon as we see some of that cloudiness go away, we can pour it in, and then we're gonna mix it into the milk.
And where do you get the citric acid from? Just anywhere?
Walmart.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
if
right.
you go in the canning section, they have a lot of stuff like this. So
I love the canning section.
Yeah.
I got into water bath canning a while back, and that has been the most fun thing for me. All right, so just pour it in
Yep,
and then start stirring.
we're gonna pour it and mix it in. There we go. Give it a gentle stir to mix in. All right. And now we're gonna wait for our milk to warm up to 90 degrees.
Okay. And we've got a thermometer here to check that. And it looks like our water is right at 70 degrees, so we're coming on up.
Well, we're not in yet.
Not in yet.
We gotta get the probe in. There we go. I have like a little foil on here to kind of help me out. There we go.
And the probe is just your basic meat thermometer. You can use it. Okay.
Yep.
This one's way better than one that I've got for whenever I do barbecue competitions. I just have the regular, you stick it in and then you get hit in the face with all the, with the steam, and then you wipe it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is our temperature.
Do you have the one with the dial on it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, just the old school one.
All right, so right now we're at 59, so we got a little while to go.
Okay. All right, well then while we're doing this, I see that you've got some bread over there. Let's go talk about the bread. Bread here, and it's all the rage right now. Everybody's doing sourdough. I have not attempted sourdough. So we've got, this is the starter?
This is the starter, and it's just it has a very distinct smell. It doesn't smell like your end result,
Right.
But it's got all the goodies in it that help produce that.
So how old is this starter? Like when did you, because it's this like the mother, right? Okay.
Yep, you reuse it. I got this probably about a year ago.
Okay.
And you have to take care of your starter. You have to feed it. You have to, you can't just leave it somewhere and expect it to do what you want it to do. I store it in the refrigerator most of the time, and then I'll feed it. If I'm not using it, I'll feed it about once every 2 weeks or something like that to keep it kind of alive. If you have it set out, you want to feed it every day because it's burning up that flour that's in there. It needs more food. But yeah, and then you'll use, it's 55 grams for this loaf of bread, so you're only using a little bit.
So this jar can make you several loaves of bread.
Oh, it could, yeah.
Easily. Okay, and whenever you say feed it, what are you feeding it?
Flour and water.
Flour and water.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep, mix it all together.
And did you start this yourself?
I ordered it.
You ordered it. Okay, so you don't have to go through the process of trying to get a starter. You can just order starter.
Yeah, you can find local people. I've seen people on Marketplace and selling starter. For like $4 or $5.
So this is not just a community. This is almost a cult.
Yeah, it kind of is. Sourdough is a multi-step process. I have seen one bread maker that can make sourdough. I'm not sure what the results are like.
Okay.
But the process for sourdough is you mix everything together, let it rest, and then you have like 3 or 4 stretching steps where you're taking it and you're moving it and you're stretching. It's kind of like kneading, but you're just stretching it. And then it has to wait some more. and then you have to have it in your refrigerator overnight, and then you make it the next day in the oven.
So this loaf is a real labor of love.
It is.
Like, it takes time. And when did you, so we've had this plan for a little while. When did you actually end up baking this bread?
Okay, so the story of this bread.
She has a story.
She has a story. I woke up my starter from the refrigerator on Thursday.
Okay.
And then I fed her, and then on Friday I did all the dough making. Okay, and then you have a rise that probably takes about 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
And then I put it in the refrigerator overnight Friday, and then I baked it yesterday afternoon.
So when we see, people who are making sourdough and they're gifting it to others, or they're even selling it to others, this is a process. This isn't, I just put eggs, flour, beat it, threw it in a pan. I mean, I do know that it's not that simple with making bread, because I tried banana bread the other day, and it was banana flavored. That was the best that I can say that it was.
Okay.
So, I think this is a great thing to say about this, is that it's not as simple as people make it out to be. It's not one of those things that it's just you go to the store and you get it. And I think a lot of people forget that it's very difficult and time consuming to make this loaf of bread.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't get fancy with mine either. Like, this is in a loaf pan. Some people do these elaborate round with decorations and stuff.
And they cut it with a razor, and they
we're
gonna eat it.
We're just gonna eat
it.
It's not gonna look fancy, but it will taste pretty good.
All right, awesome. One thing that I hadn't considered is how much time goes into everything. I was actually just thinking about how whenever I decided to do this, I'd made the decision, bought a few things, and we showed up and started recording. It wasn't until about halfway through I realized how much effort Tiffany had gone into in just prepping. From starting the sourdough several days beforehand, getting the mozzarella cheese ready, the beef tallow that took months and months and months because she raised those cattle. One thing to really consider here is just the effort, and I feel like I didn't do enough. I cannot even begin to tell you how humbling it is to have an idea, see it come to life, and realize what went into it. There really is a lot of love, a lot of magic, and a lot of effort that goes into this. All right, so this is rennet. What does this do in the cheese making process?
This turns the cheese or the milk from a liquid product into a solid.
Okay.
So this is what you put in to make the curds. If you've heard of cheese curds, this makes it curd.
Okay.
So it creates something solid that you can work with.
All right, awesome. And about how much of this do you usually use?
1/4 teaspoon per gallon. So
Okay.
we got our measuring spoons there, and we'll go ahead and measure out 1/4, and we're going to put it right there so we can get it all mixed up.
1/4 teaspoon per gallon. So we really don't need a lot of this.
Nope.
All right.
No, and I buy it in a large
And we did
bottle.
I need 2 because we did a 2-gallon.
No, we did 1 gallon.
We did 1 gallon.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're good.
We are good to go.
All right, so now I'm going to use this to kind of mix it up.
I cannot wait to see this process. Does it happen instantly? Am I going to be like surprised, or is it?
No, it takes a little while.
Okay,
We're going to pause, but it'll take probably, for mozzarella, I think it's very short, like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So next thing we're going to do is get this rennet in here, and when you mix rennet into milk, it's on a molecular level, it's already starting to work. So
I love science.
We're going to be very gentle with this, and my stirring will just be very slow, and then we're going to let it rest.
Okay.
So we're going to get it poured in.
Science and rest, 2 of my favorite things.
And we're going to gently just kind of let it mix in.
I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I was kind of hoping you would pour it in and then it would just like pop, 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 pop.
Oh yeah, like instantly solid.
Yeah. Instant gratification. I think that's the way of the world right now, which is why doing this is so
important to learn because
Yeah.
good things do take time.
They do. Quality takes time. All right, we're gonna let this rest for a little while and come back to something that's probably like a firm yogurt consistency.
Awesome.
About 5 minutes, and we're gonna see if this is ready. I don't know if you want to get the you have it.
Yep.
So what we're hoping for is something that's like thick yogurt, and it looks like that's what we got. I like.
And it only took 5 minutes to get that kind of consistency.
Yep. I like it to stay together when I pull it apart like this and it's still breaking. So I think we should give it a couple more minutes.
Okay. Okay, so this is cheddar that you did. Okay.
Yep, I did it in September. September 5th, I put it into the cheese cave. And you know, about 2 months, I think 2-3 months. It's a good age. It's been longer than that, obviously, because now we're into March. But that's okay. It's encased in the wax, so it will maintain its moisture on the inside pretty good. So you wanna have like your process be as clean as possible for this because it's sitting aging for months.
So that's why making sure that nothing is touching each other, let alone
Yeah.
surfaces that are not disinfected.
Right. All your utensils, you want to clean them really well before you use them. If I were
So
doing,
medical precision whenever
right.
making aged cheese.
if you've ever worked in a clean lab, anybody who's been in a clean lab, I've spent some time in a clean lab. You bring a lot of that into this. If I were doing an aged cheese today, I would not be doing that because there's just too much splattering. I don't know where it's going exactly.
Even so, we're not really seeing a lot of it. Whenever you're doing an aged cheese, it would have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Right, safety.
Just for safety, yep.
Right.
Yep. Because you don't want to get, 3 months into a cheese aging only to discover that it's contaminated.
Okay, so whenever aged cheese is probably not beginner friendly. Mozzarella, yes. Aged cheese, maybe not so much.
You always start with the mozzarella.
Okay.
Yeah. That'll start to teach you about the rennet and the waiting and the steps and stuff like that. And I don't want to frighten people about trying to do a cheddar because you could do it. You just follow the directions. It's nothing to be scared of.
I think you'd be surprised at how many people would skip directions. I probably, I'm like, well, do I really need to do that?
We can just skip that.
We could just skip that part.
All right, let's see how this is.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh.
There we go.
That is stunning.
So I like to sniff my cheese like the first thing, like.
Oh,
'cause
yeah, I can smell it.
If it's contaminated, you'll know. Yeah, it smells good.
That smells really good.
Next step here is to pull out. These are the cheese curds, and they need to go in here and drain and rest for a bit.
Yeah, not playing around with that thing. So it comes in, sits in here. We've got our cheesecloth.
Yep, it's gonna rest for a little while. I'm getting lazy.
Seems just sufficient to me.
Yeah, I mean, you could do this like and through a colander, like just pour the whole thing. There we go, last of it.
Okay, is it okay for me to touch it? I'm just dying.
Yeah,
to
touch
do
it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try it if you want. If you're curious, just
I am
pop a
very
piece in your
curious.
mouth.
I'm just gonna. I can see where salt would definitely balance out flavor. But the consistency in your mouth is not unpleasant. It is different, but it's not unpleasant. Yeah, I can't wait to see how this comes together, how it goes from this into a beautiful mozzarella ball that you would slice, open up, see over pasta. You find it in the stores, you pay money for it, but this is such an easy, time-consuming, but easy cheese so far. It's really
Right.
All right, so what are we looking for here?
So right now it still looks very much like the way that we put it in. So I think it needs to be heated up a little more because what we want to see is all these little pieces just kind of starting to melt in together.
Okay.
And it's not melting so much as it's not cooking. It's just letting it all combine together. You don't want to overdo it because if it gets like bubbly, cheese like when you eat on top of pizza, that's too much. You need it to be a little less. Now it's starting. I can feel it. See how it's
Okay,
starting
yeah, there we
to-
go. Nice stretch on
Yep.
it. Mm-hmm.
And this is warm. Like, so some people wear gloves. I'm not going to really worry about it. I'm going to put about a teaspoon and a half of salt in here. And we're going to mix it up. I'm going to just fold it.
Fold the cheese. Here
Fold-
we are.
fold the
Just
cheese.
fold the
And
cheese.
then
If you say fold in one more time.
just fold it a couple times. Give it a good stretch if you can. It's starting to stretch, but we're not quite there yet. That's okay, because we're going to heat it up some more and it'll get there. We got the salt mixed in a little bit.
Okay, back into
Back
for
in
15 seconds.
Yay. See how different that looks from the first time? Yep. That is looking good. I think I'm going to call that done.
Awesome.
I mean, there's a little bit of chunkiness, but it feels good.
Okay, so where are we at with the tallow?
So this has been simmering for a few hours, and now we got like these fat chunks have turned into these shrunken up, brown, and separated from the liquid fat, which is laying underneath it.
And I'm not gonna lie, it looks delicious. It looks
It
like
does.
fried chicken.
And it smells delicious.
It
too.
does smell really good.
So we're gonna scoop out all this solid stuff off the top.
Wow.
Let's have a little bit
Oh,
of
she
water.
is getting it.
And that's just because I rinsed this off and we're using it for the mozzarella. So I'm gonna get that and put it in there. All right, and then our next step is this is really hot right now. We're gonna let it kind of cool off a little bit. And we're gonna strain it through a cheesecloth and a strainer into the containers that we have waiting.
And get rid of all the leftover little bits.
The little
of it.
teeny tiny pieces.
So what's going to end up happening with these is you take them, you freeze them, and then you will be able to break them off as needed for cooking.
What I would do is let them cool to room temperature. They'll start to get kind of solid. You can break them apart then, but it's easier if they cool like in the refrigerator.
Right.
Break them apart and then freeze them.
And then freeze them. Okay.
Yeah, because if you break them apart after the freezer, it's going to be like super hard to break them.
Okay, yeah.
And really crumbly.
That's pretty good.
That's a meal.
It looks like a very simple meal. But the sourdough the starter's a year old. The sourdough has to be fed, it has to be stretched. You have to let it rise. There's a lot of resting that goes into the sourdough, the cheese, tomatoes have to grow. This is, what, a week's worth of work wrapped up into a slice of bread and the perfect flavor profile. It is just an incredible meal that a lot of time, love, and effort went into. I appreciate you cooking for a week.
Well, I guess it was more like since Thursday.
Well,
4 days.
technically we could say a year.
Yeah, because
You
the
know,
starter.
there's a starter.